After a very long period of time away, we finally have hockey here at the Nest. I'm Oz Phillips. Alongside me for this one, well, slightly 2 meters away, is Bryan Shuttleworth. Good afternoon, Bryan.
Afternoon, Oz. Safe distance, of course. We can't get too close together these days.
It is indeed. Of course, there's been a lot of difficulties with getting this set up because of the COVID regulations that are surrounding sports at the moment. We are adhering to all elite sport COVID legislation out there. So, for instance, we're after wearing masks around the building. We're only allowed in a certain area of the arena. We're not allowed to go anywhere else, which is why we haven't got a nice, lovely, warm studio for the day.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we're essentially...
One day.
We're essentially rooted to the spot for this one. But hopefully you do enjoy the product that we put out today, which is, at the end of the day, the first live game that goes out on Hawks TV. So we hope you like it. We hope you appreciate it. Any feedback will be greatly appreciated. You can, of course, contact us through the Facebook groups, through the Facebook page. And if you have any shout-outs, we'll see if we can do what we can to get those out during the game. Now, of course, over the last 11 months since last time the Hawks played, we have had a massive change of ownership. We have Carl Everett and Graham Lomax coming in as new owners. And myself, and I'm sure Bryan would appreciate, it's nice that the Hawks have got friendly faces that are dedicated to the club coming in and running.
I mean, the biggest side to it is you look at Blackburn Hawks as a club, and there's one name that will always stick out to anybody who's ever been around the club, and that is Graham Lomax. Everybody knows that name around Blackburn Ice Arena, and the passion that him and, of course, his son Ollie have always dedicated to the club is exactly why he's the right man to lead the club right now.
Indeed, love him or hate him, Graham lives for this club, and hopefully that enthusiasm does come through and we see benefits on and off the ice. Of course, there's a lot of new names as well as familiar faces in the Hawks lineup today. Is there anyone in particular that you're liking the look of?
Well, I mean, obviously the main thing you want to be focusing on is the key youngsters here. We've got Ronnie Grimes, son of, Ronnie Grimes, who has been, training very, very hard for the past God knows how many years now, working his way through the Blackburn Youth Academy. Of course, there's Lukvich. He's a local lad as well, 19 years of age. He hails from Whalley. It's just down the road. So these guys, we're expecting they're going to put everything on the line because this is realistically their local club, and especially Ronnie Grimes. He has been dedicated to this club for almost his entire childhood. So I'm excited to see the passion that he gives out on the ice.
Indeed. Also on the coaching side, we have Ryan Finnerty, who has joined from the Manchester Storm. He will be assisting with the coaching setup here. Of course, the Storm aren't playing at all. There is no elite level hockey in the country for the 2020-21 season, simply because of the money involved and the fact that they cannot function without spectators and supporters, which we do, of course, appreciate. But that benefits the Hawks lineup today. So the coaching, the bench staff, we even have the analytics coach watching this game, and hopefully that information and that input will benefit the Hawks today. Now, as well, over the pre-season, we have unfortunately lost a very big member of the Hawks family. Eddie Brigdale left us, which means that, of course, Eddie and Joan are no longer with us. We will be doing a piece about that in our next broadcast game, where we'll be talking to people on their thoughts and feelings of the Brigdales. And we've had Aaron Davis warm up today with a Brigdale jersey. But, of course, the Brigdales were such a massive part of this club for so long.
I remember the first time meeting Eddie Brigdale was on the party bus going up to Solway, and the friendliness and passion that he showed every single time I saw him. There's not a man like him. He was an absolutely wonderful human being. His wife Joan was always there by his side, always supporting, always kind, giving anything she can to anybody and the club to make everyone as happy as they possibly could be when they were around Blackburn Hawks. And it was it's a real sad shame to see them go.
It is indeed. Okay, we are now going to go to our live match camera for this presentation, as making their way on the ice are the Blackburn Hawks. We already have the Widnes Wild, of course, on the ice already. So, again, there's familiar names on both sides of the ice this game, as we've got a few people from across the Morley and Laidler leagues in both sides today.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this is almost like an all-star game of the Northwest for Morley and Laidler combined. Obviously, the Widnes Wild, you look at that side, and I'm looking through these names, and I'm seeing a team that you should absolutely in no way underestimate. We've got Lewis Baldwin, obviously, of course, used to play for the Hawks quite well. Incredible player, great at handling the puck, puts the body on. He's going to be a fantastic asset for the Wild tonight. And, of course, Stuart Brittle, Ollie Barron. These are players that put everything on the ice every single time and have so much skill in front of the net. The Hawks are going to have to be very careful in their defensive end if they want to get something out of this game, because I do not want to look at this Wild team and underestimate them.
No, definitely not. I mean, even some people that may have been playing slightly down the line order here, we've still got Chris G. He's a big body, he's a big unit, and he isn't someone that this Hawks side will take lightly, because of course he was in the Hawks dressing room a couple of seasons ago. Absolutely,
of course. I mean, obviously I'm looking at these names and the main assets I'm seeing, obviously they have a lot of big point getters, but of course the blue line is where they're really stacked up in terms of Morley Laidler experience more than anything else.
Yeah, now looking at the Hawks lineup, we were talking about familiar names. We don't just mean players that were playing for the Hawks last season or the season before. There are some names that we haven't seen in a Hawks jersey for a long time, like Matt Viney and Chris Butler.
We thought some of these players called it quits. They just couldn't keep themselves away from the ice. Chris Butler, I thought he'd given up a long time ago, but here he is back in the black jersey for the Hawks and ready to put everything on the line once again.
Indeed, of course, as you can see, the Hawks will be wearing their black shirt and Widnes in their traditional yellow. Well, I don't know about you, Brian, but I'm a little bit emotional.
That's the first time I've heard that anthem since the last time I was in this rink.
It is indeed. It's good to be back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us once again on Hawks TV. There's a lot of people out there that have been saying they've been looking forward to listening to me and you, but we actually haven't commentated or broadcast a game on video, radio or otherwise for several years now.
It's true. I mean, obviously, when NIHL Radio finalised its broadcasting for the last time at the end of that season, we haven't touched a microphone since. But even then, throughout that entire season, I don't believe we did a single broadcast together, because we ended up actually taking over completely different roles, and you were covering half the league.
Indeed, I was in Solihull on a Saturday and Dumfries and everything else. But anyway, back to the game in question. Now, looking at the Hawks as they do their usual around the net, it's interesting to note that tonight your captain is Rick Bentham. Bentham will be wearing the C, and it's nice to see him in Hawks jerseys once again.
It sure is, but it's a little odd to see that huddle around the net for the Blackburn Hawks without Ollie Lomax bouncing his way from the red line. It's so odd not to see that these days, but of course there he is, restlessly bouncing around on the bench instead.
Yeah, of course, Hawks have now got Ollie as a coaching setup person. I think he's there with Lee Pollitt as well.
Lee Pollitt is a player coach now in his current standing for the Blackburn Hawks. Yes, indeed. And obviously he's another player that has put points, body, blood, sweat, everything down for the Blackburn Hawks. So again, he's another good man to have in the role for the job, especially considering all the accolades he's getting from the likes of Graham Lomax and everyone for how much he's put the squad together.
Okay, face-off between Pollitt and Coulter of the Widnes Wild. We have hockey, the first game of this competition. A shortened competition, as of course we haven't got any league play for the 2021 season, as Rhys Kearney-Witter dumps that straight on, and that's a shot, the first shot on goal of the game, and it's by the big man, Rhys Kearney-Witter.
Not exactly the first thing you'd expect to say at the start of this broadcast, but what's also interesting looking at that starting line, we've got Rick Bentham playing right blue line in D.
Very interesting indeed. We'll see how that pans out over the course of the game, because of course the Hawks have got quite a few D-men this term. We were joking with Chris Butler before the game that he's fourth line D, which shows the kind of numbers that the Hawks have.
Indeed it does, and if he's fourth line, it also shows the quality that the Hawks have.
Yeah, as Coulter just gets tied up there with Lee Pollitt. Here we go, the first real break after the off. Shot on, that's just bobbles over the blue zone and back out. Here we go, right-hand side now, Widnes Wild.
That's two strong shots that have drawn good saves from Lutkovich. I'm liking what I've seen from him so far.
Indeed, and we are only 1 minute into the game. Well, 55 seconds it is now. And that's the first time that the Hawks netminder has been called into action.
A magnificent play there from Adam Barnes, cutting all the way across the crease and getting a backhand shot towards the far post on the Hawks net, and a good save to blow the whistle down. But that was a great effort from Barnes.
Yeah, Nick Strapan's taking the start here for the Blackburn Hawks. Of course, he is well known to many people that have been following the Blackburn Hawks for years. Latvian born, but he's classed as a naturalised player in this league.
Yeah, of course, trained in the UK and has been with the Blackburn Hawks organisation for quite some time now.
Yeah, as he really has grown in stature since starting as a backup netminder. Again, from deep in their own end, the Hawks trying to play this out down the right wing. Back into the centre, but that just goes over the skate of Greaves. Blue line to the point. Widnes not able to get that in the Hawks zone. Dumped away for a line change.
Little temptation there from James Riddett. You could see almost tempted to run the goalie for half a second.
Oh, well, there we go. If anyone thought that this was a true friendly, Aaron Davis just getting a bit of a niggle in there on Ollie Barron. Of course, they've had many tussles on and off the ice over the number of years. And if you think with such a small league setup, these players have been playing with each other for years and years.
Of course they have, and obviously there's a lot of cross between these two teams right now. You see players that have played for both sides, and of course Dipnall recently signed for the Hawks, used to play for the Wild up until that point about 2 weeks ago.
Yep, no player has played more games for the Widnes Wild than Sean Dipnall, and here he is icing in a black jersey today. That hasn't gone down very well between the two organisations, as that draws another save. And what's happening now in the crease?
Yeah, it bounced off a defensive stick there and in between the pads of the Wild netminder, and it was just Aaron Davis and a couple of other Hawks players just diving in stick first to try and put that through his legs, but blown down for a whistle as he managed to close the pads fast enough.
Indeed. Face off in the Wild end. 2 minutes and 30 played so far. Drops just kept in there by Bentham. Shot in. Glancing deflection into the corner. Still on the Hawks. Looking for a route out. 3 Wild players in front of the goal there. Back to Bentham at the point. Knocks it in, scrappily put over the goal line, and the Hawks have not got true possession of this.
A lot of scrappy play along the boards, but they're managing to keep it in the zone, and it does seem like we've got that first line D pair as Kearney-Witter and Rick Bentham.
That is interesting. Brain and Braun. That's coming down now. Armstrong. That's just picked up there and away by Corey Lee as the Hawks go for another line change. Now, I wasn't entirely sure of what kind of intensity we'd see at the start of this game, and it's constant, but it's not the real true pressure that we thought we might get with these guys having not hit the ice for 11 months.
I mean, we're going to see that ramp up more and more as the game goes on. As they get more used to it, they get back into the competitive feeling, they start hitting bodies more. We're going to see that ramp up, and of course the tensions will flare a lot more once bodies start being thrown as well.
Now that's pushed out and chased away there. Hawks again, though, not able to get a clean possession on this and get a decent attacking opportunity out of it. We're coming up to 4 minutes played.
That's a great
in the corner.
tip.
It is Polly. Oh, he just misses it off his stick. Scrappy again in the corner and away by the Widnes Wild. Switching it up, gets it through to Barnes. Barnes one-on-one now with Nick Straphan's shot, and that's the first goal of the game, and the Widnes Wild are 1-0 up.
What a phenomenal play from Adam Barnes. The little tip off his stick to push it forward to himself around the last Hawks defenseman, put him clean through on goal, and a nice wicked wrist shot into the short side above Straphan's shoulder. Amazing play, what a goal.
It is. The vision to get that through and then carry on with it. I mean, one must say, why wasn't the Hawks defensive line anywhere near him at the time? But
I'd like to say they wouldn't see him, but it's like they're in high vis out there.
So, just over 4 minutes played, the score now 1-0 to the visiting Widnes Wild, and the first goal scored in this entire competition. Of course, this is the first game to be played between the four sides, which are the Nottingham Lions, the Sheffield Scimitars, the Widnes Wild, and the Blackburn Hawks. Ulrich now gets round his man. Had nowhere to go with the shot, puts it through the centre, but it doesn't find a stick. Back to the point, around the boards, back to Ulrich. Point again. Shot in, just tipped away. It looked like the Wild were lucky for that to go just wide. Looking for a route out. Onto the right wing. Shot taken and just wide into the boards. Heavy hit there, he puts his man down, but the puck is still ready. Dickinson there gets it out. And now Aaron Davis, talisman for the Hawks, longest serving player, takes a shot from the point. I must say, he could have possibly done something a bit more with that if it had got closer.
I'd imagine Aaron knew exactly what he was doing with that one. He had tired men on the ice with him. He wanted to push up and get some zone pressure, but all of the other Hawks 4 players were well behind the red line or even in their own zone. He wanted to buy some time and get everyone up into that forward zone, so now we have a face-off to get some extra pressure on the Wild defensive end.
So face-off won by the Hawks. Murray tips in, saved, but that went through a lot of bodies.
It went through a lot of bodies, and I'm very surprised it actually didn't hit a stick there and ended up right into the crest of the netminder. And I must say, it's a little odd to see Matt Viney out there with number 17, because we have Sam Dunford, of course, in number 5 tonight.
Yeah, no, we have. Just have a little bit of something in front of us here. Matt Tarpey, number 68 of the Widnes Wild, has come off the bench, and he's just doing something. I'm not sure if he has a minor injury, if he has an equipment issue, but he currently isn't on the bench for the Wild, as they have the puck in the Hawks' end, in the corner. Managed to get it out. Nearly got that to Ollie Barron. It's pushed away. Wild still in possession.
He seems to have given the nod to the physio that he might be okay to carry on playing, but he's just got a bit of an ice pack on his shoulder. It looks like he might have twisted something in his right shoulder, so that might be something to keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah, when I saw then that he was sat there, like I say, I wasn't sure if it was an equipment issue or not, because they were playing with his shoulder padding, but it is indeed a shoulder niggle. Shot taken, hits the boards behind the net. Powerful shot, but just not accurate enough there. Matt Viney calling for support to get off the bench.
So that was a questionable clear from Chris G, but a lack of communication in the Hawks' defence now gives Wild a lot of pressure in the defensive end for the Blackburn Hawks.
Bentham now, interestingly, is still playing D, so that is his position for the rest of the game with Reece Gainey-Witter, as Bryan said earlier. Brought on, but he can't keep his feet on the ice as Pollitt just gave that away to the Wild. Lee Pollitt himself, of course, used to play for the Widnes Wild. G. Out onto the left, just decided to pull out there, did Armstrong on Butler coming in. Away by Rhys Kearney-Witter. And again, that seems to be something that I'm going to see a lot of this game, I imagine. Rhys Kearney-Witter, when he has the puck, maybe dumping it onto the goaltender's chest.
Yeah, and again, it seems we saw it from Aaron Davis as well. It seems so that he can get sustained zone pressure and get that face-off in the wild end.
Yeah, it's good for a change and getting the puck frozen in the wild zone and getting the players in the right situation to do something with it.
They obviously must feel very confident on their face-offs if they wanted to cause that many in the wild end, which, I mean, they are winning most of them as well, so you can see why.
Yeah. Puck down the right-hand side as Luke White was chasing that. Tipped away again. Coming out now is Jordan Griffin. Away into the middle, collected by Barnes, the goal scorer for the Wild. Reeves was trying to put him off his game there.
I must say, Barnes is looking in real fine form tonight.
He is already. We've had nearly 8 minutes played. This puck is just being tied up there. Now chased by Joe Coulter. Back in the centre with the Hawks. A bit of a lazy turn there, giving possession away instead of trying to get the pass through to Jared Dickinson. Baldwin here. Of course, Baldwin has played at a higher level with Manchester, as well as playing for the Hawks. Something happened just off the puck there, but Baldwin's back on his feet.
Looks like we're going for a wholesale line change on both sides of the benches there.
Yep, Warnock and Lutkovic on the ice. Defensive pairing for the Hawks. Trying to get to this before Ollie Barron. Chipped out again, and is Aaron going to get on this? He does. Shot taken. Save with the arm there and into the corner, but he has no Hawk support just yet. In comes Riddick. And we have a penalty called. Did you see anything in that, Bryan?
Yeah, I think it looks like there was a little hook around Ulrich there as he went around the net, and that's what's been called.
There we go.
It seems they hooked the stick around him to try and... Oh, no, it's a slashing even.
It's called a slashing.
Yeah, maybe trying to chop the stick away from him a bit too keenly to stop him keeping control. But to his credit, he kept perfect control of that puck all the way around the net, and that was looking like a dangerous attack.
So there we have it, the first power play of the game for the Blackburn Hawks as Ollie Barron sits down for 2 minutes for a slashing minor penalty. 5-on-4 in the Wild end. Face-off to be taken. And the Wild won that one there. Stuart Brittle against Lee Pollitt.
Of course, it's a perfect time to win a face-off right at the start of a penalty kill like that, so you can fire it all the way around the ice and just stop them building momentum.
Yep. There's no such thing as icing when you're on the PK. And the Wild are just going to keep knocking this away, keeping it in the Hawks' end, trying to keep the pressure away as they have 1 minute and 35 seconds left on Ollie Barron's penalty. Back to square one for the Hawks, taking it down the left-hand side. Plenty of space here for Lee Pollitt. Looking for someone in the middle. He's got Ulrich with him. Puts it to the point. Across to Dipnell. Bentham, of course, is a D-man on the power play here. Straight into his mask.
Big scramble in front there, and a good effort off Lee Pollitt, I believe, and cleared all the way down. Now, it was hard to see what formation they were starting to set up in the Wild end there. It looked like they started with an umbrella, but then they narrowed it out again right into the slot. It was kind of hard to read.
Yeah, 50 seconds remaining on the Ollie Barron penalty. Dickinson round the boards. Puts it in there to Cade King. Across to Greaves. Is he going to take the shot? See, that's only the second shot the Hawks have taken in this entire power play so far, with 35 seconds remaining.
A good skate block there by Baldwin as well. He was very confident he was going to block that.
And that's been blown down by the officials. But yeah, in a power play situation, having someone like Rick Bentham as a defenseman, obviously with his forward acumen that he has, they didn't really capitalise it on the first part of that PP.
They didn't know, but again, it was all about the setup. They looked like they were setting up the umbrella with 3 men on the blue line to spread across and keep as much pressure on the blue line and keep the puck in the zone as they possibly could. But then they sort of narrowed out again and went pushed back towards the cycle areas and the corners and more towards the slot. And I think they ended up being quite narrow on the blue line and cutting down their options a little.
29 seconds remaining on the Ollie Barron penalty. As we are just waiting for Matthew Croyle, the netminder there for the Widnes Wild, just to sort out his equipment.
Of course, the Wild so far, they're pushing up high on this penalty kill, but they are keeping quite collapsed and close around the net. So if they want to keep possession, the Hawks maybe could be... What a goal!
That is a goal, and that's come out of some great work there eventually by the Blackburn Hawks. It looks like Lee Pollitt, number 70 for me.
No, it was tipped off the stick of the Crimson Chin. James Riddock in front. A magnificent directed tip right into the top corner. He knew that shot was coming, and he knew exactly where he wanted to put it off his stick.
Wow, that's incredible. There we go, the first game of this competition scored by James Riddock, a real fan favourite.
Of course, Big Rids, as many people might refer to him as. Everybody knows him here at the Hawks. He's been with the organisation again a very long time, all the way through rec, building his way up to the first team.
Indeed, so with nearly 11 minutes played in the first period, the score is now 1-1. Now we have a bit more speed in this game, as that very nearly went through. Again, shot on, and suddenly we have a bit of intensity from the Wild.
This is exactly what I was saying was going to happen. The longer it goes on, the more pressure shows up, and that's the most obvious tripping goal I've ever seen, I think.
It's been given. The referee keeps saying, yes, it is. Tripping has been given.
He didn't even trip him with his stick. He tripped him with his skate. He actually just straight up legged him up behind the net there.
So there we go. Chris G is now sat in the box. He's sat in the box many times in this arena, but not necessarily the away end. 8 minutes and 52 remaining on the official game clock here in the arena. 2 minutes on the board for number 46, and a face-off in the Wild end.
This is another good opportunity for the Hawks on the power play. Again, this sustained pressure and this momentum could really work in their favour if they can get another goal here.
Dumped away on the skate, and the Hawks going backwards here, back to square one to try and develop a play from this. Pressure there from Richard Hager.
Big hit along the boards there on James Riddock.
Yeah, 1 minute and 30 remaining on the penalty. Hawks have had no real possession as of yet on this PP in the Wild end. Straight to Nick's trap hands. He opts not to freeze it, keep the puck in play. Here we go, left side. Pollitt and Ulrich in the middle. But the dump shot in. Loop back. Back to the point. It's Bentham going to take the shot. Tipped in, it just touches Barnes and into the corner. And with 55 seconds remaining, still nothing of note here for the Hawks. And that's a sloppy offside in a PK.
I'm going to say, realistically for Blackburn, that's a lucky offside. They were very offensively heavy on that line. We actually had Pollitt and Bentham on the blue line. I don't think we had a single D-man, unless you count Bentham, on the ice there. And there was every chance they could have got caught flat-footed, because it looked like they really wanted to get set up in the offensive end. And it almost didn't work out for them, as it was Barnes especially going the other way.
So still 45 seconds remaining. No real shot on goal in this power play. Bringing it back out, Lee Pollitt now. He has support and he knocks it in the middle. No one was waiting for it. Dipnell manages to get it back, but Barnes put the pressure on there.
Dipnell was on the ball there to be able to get back and recover that puck, because that could have been really dangerous.
22 seconds on the power play. Bentham winds up, shot in, and that is a laser beam.
That went through as clean as they come. It didn't hit anything on the way through. There were a lot of bodies in front, but somehow he managed to find the tiniest gap through all of it and straight into the back of the net. 2-1 Blackburn.
That was a very good goal indeed, and I didn't expect that towards the end of that power play.
Indeed. But again, the Hawks putting that pressure on, keeping that pressure on, keeping the hard work going, and now momentum is truly in their favour. They need to keep it up 5-on-5 and make sure they don't slip up and give the Wild too many chances.
So here we go, Butler on the puck here. Just to clarify as well, I said earlier that no one had played more games for the Wild than Sean Dipnell. I've had Paul Breeze contact me. Of course, Paul Breeze watches a lot of hockey in Widnes, and he is a fantastic biographer of hockey. And he says to me that Ken Armstrong and Tom Jackson have both played more games for Widnes than Dipnell. So I do apologise. I've been given some wrong information there.
If there was any person that I would trust to be the most accurate, especially when it comes to Northern hockey, it's Paul Breeze. That man knows his numbers. That man has literally written the book on these numbers.
He's written several books, and I've got them all.
Absolutely brilliant content creator for British ice hockey. Love, love, love everything he does.
6 minutes and 45 seconds remaining on the official game clock here. 2-1 to the Hawks as we have a full change for the Widnes Wild. Since that second goal, the momentum that we're building behind the Wild just seems to have flattened out a little bit.
It does, and obviously they were motivated by the first goal. Now they seem to be a little more angry by the second one, and we're seeing that right there with what seems to be another penalty call, possibly holding, I believe, on Jordan Griffin. Although, no, I'm not sure why that was whistled down, actually.
Either way, no penalties called.
Yeah, indeed.
5-on-5 still, even strength hockey. Puck drops tied up, just gets it back to a black shirt. Shot in, saved, but comes back out for the deflection.
That was a big rebound in front. So many sticks going towards that. It's amazing there wasn't another effort into the pads.
I think it came in so quickly that there couldn't be anyone quick enough there shielding, but that's back in the centre to the left for Barnes. Again, he's playing an awesome game at the moment. Shot taken, just dribbles wide of Nick Traphans in the Hawks goal. That's going away, that's going to ice.
That's a great block in front by Craig Lutkovich there.
Sorry, I thought that would ice. Change for the Hawks. Barnes again, he's got Coulter in the centre for support. In! How that didn't connect with someone else's stick, as I think it was Richard Hagger that rushed in there.
What a great save off the pad with a massive tip in front on that shot. Fantastic from Traphans to keep that puck out of the net. That was destined for the corner.
Back in the centre, Barnes pushed away, but he still manages to get it. It's loose, it's away. Nick Traphans was fortunate with that one.
Barnes' puck control in this game so far has been absolutely fantastic, and you can see just how much pressure he was putting on there, along with the rest of the Wild squad keeping it in the Hawks' end. There are tired legs on that ice now, and that's what that desperate icing was a result of. So the Hawks are going to want to get hold of this and safely clear it out of the zone as quickly as possible so that they can get a change, because there are tired legs on those ice right now.
Pushed away over the blue, that neutralises the Wild attack for the time being. All the way back into his own zone before pushing forwards. Tipped into the corner. Luco back behind the goal. Back out to Luco. Into the centre, and no clean possession, but Jared Dickinson has it now. Shot in, but I think that was more just to get the puck in that end so they could get bodies in behind it. Yeah,
it was a good tip though from Ulrich in the middle to get it across to him, because it looked like he was skating into no man's land there.
Greaves round the back to Dickinson. Back out, switches it up, goes for a minor change. Greaves gets it in. Only as far as Adam Barnes.
Yeah, the Hawks had to abandon that one as Ulrich had strayed a little bit too far offside by the time he dunked the puck. That is a big hit
Heavy
on
hit
Gilbert by Lee Pollitt.
Yeah, of course, Pollitt and Gilbert know each other through the Altrincham setup.
I'm not going to lie, I still miss that beautiful blue Altrincham Aces jersey.
Pollitt now into the centre. Oh, just went into the boards, no clean shot on it. Looked like it touched his skates to go into the boards.
Yeah, it was definitely off his skate and wide. Now, whether it would have been deemed as a kick-in if it did go into the goal, I don't believe it would have, because he was just stopping up in front, ready to take the shot, and it fired off his skate. Yeah,
there was no fluid kicking motion. It was just a moving skate that it hit. So it would have counted if it went in.
So that's an icing, I believe, from the Wild there as Hawks go for a full line change.
Puck drops nearly. Matt Widnes just had his stick tied up there. Back down now, Aaron is doing his usual, just floating around the blue line, calling for the puck. Butler puts it out, but that's just sloppy there as that's pushed back in there by Daniel Haid.
Of course, Aaron Davis, the man himself, wanting to be on the ice as much as possible in these games, as he's told me himself the other day outside the rink. He is 8 points, not goals, points away from holding the record for most points by a Blackburn Hawks player.
We spoke about these statistics before. I'm sure that they're slightly out because I think there's some statistic gathering websites out there that don't count, say, the Northern League games when the Hawks used to play National League and Northern League. And that is a goal. It's a well-worked play there as Barnes puts it in the net again to equalise for the Widnes Wild.
The quick thinking of Stewart Brittle. No, it's not Stewart Brittle. My apologies. That's Richard Hagar. The quick thinking there to not take the shot even though he was clean in on goal, but instead to pass it to the back post so that Nick Trappans didn't stand a chance. Absolutely fantastic play. It would have been very easy for any player to take the shot there, but that's not what he did, and that's why they got the goal.
17 minutes played in the first period. It is all square here. 2 goals apiece as Barnes takes this on his own. Takes a shot just above the top corner. Nick Trappans has a reprieve. Jack Murray now. Let's get it out. It's on the blue to Baldwin. Shot! That was a heavy one, but again, a little bit too much power on there as it went over.
It wasn't far over, though.
Indeed, Baldwin just keeps it in. Is he going to take another one? Decides to go for the pass, but it's just tipped into the glass there by Jordan Griffin.
Wells a little lucky there in the corner. The referee had to duck out of that one. He almost caught one in the nose.
Now we've seen a bit more energy and a bit more impetus from the Wild since they've scored their goal. Let's see if they can keep that energy up now as we have a face-off in the Hawks' end. 2 minutes and 24 remaining in the period.
Indeed, with this amount of time left, they'll be really hoping to get a momentum breaker goal right before the period break and put themselves in a strong position for the second period. Let's see if they can do it.
Puck's back in. Now, what can the Hawks do here? Is they're struggling to gather clean possession when the puck's in their own end at the moment.
Yeah, they seem to be trying to sort of chip it around the Wild players and chip it forward for their own players to chase into the neutral zone, because of course they don't want to be firing it straight down the ice because that'll result in an icing. They have to be careful about how they get it out the zone, but they're definitely stacking low as opposed to keeping men close to the blue line, so they are struggling to get out of their zone.
As the puck drops, quick shot there by Ollie Barron. Out by Bentham. It doesn't appear to go over the blue. That wasn't a neutralised Wild attack. There we go. It's out. Dipnell trying to get it away from Stuart Brittle on the boards. Bentham to Dipnell to Lukvik.
Lee Pollitt just straying offside there and nullifying that attack, unfortunately.
Yeah, he just seemed to have got caught on the blue line there and didn't go in at the time that Pollitt expected it to. Here we go, Butler across the Dipnell. Back in the centre to Lee Pollitt. He brings it over the blue, brought down, and that is a call against Jackson.
Yeah, that's, again, another very easy tripping call for them to make as he caught him in the thigh, it looks like. And just upended him as he was crossing the blue line. He'd clearly gotten around his man, and the defenseman was left stood there flat-footed.
Yeah. I think he just ran out of ideas to try and stop him from going past him. So we have
looking very promising from Lee Pollitt there. It's a shame that he did get tripped up.
So here we have it, yet another power play. The Hawks have converted one. 1 for 2 as it stands.
It's a double minor for knees. Or it's just showing on the board twice. That's very odd.
It's 2 minutes for tripping. That's what's just been called by our match announcer, Danny Holden. Oh, just
right
off the iron.
post.
Fantastic shot there, though, by the Hawks. looking for another route out. He's got Cade King here on the point. King has it now. Opts to switch it over to the left. Back to centre, winds up. Ooh, just into the boys behind the goal. Again, that was just a little bit wide. And that is frozen on the goal line there by Matthew Croyle.
Yeah, Aaron Davis with another little cheeky backhand in front, but Croyle was just covering too much of the net to be able to let anything through there and was easily be able to freeze that one down for a face-off.
So with 1 minute 19 seconds remaining on the power play, 36 seconds remaining in the period. 5 on 4 as Polly loses that face-off. Around the boards, but kept in at the blue. Kept in again. Can they take the shot? Just off the netminder. And Wild away. Interesting they're not going for the full change. I thought they might from that, with 18 seconds remaining. I just feel that they've got just enough left in the tank to see this period out. Hip check misses. Still with the Hawks. 8 seconds remaining on the clock. Can they get one last shot off before the buzz? There we go. And it's just wide. And after 20 minutes of hockey, the score is Blackburn Hawks 2 and Widnes Wild 2. Now we've got 44 seconds remaining on the power play. You think the Hawks can really take that momentum into the second?
I don't believe they can, because realistically it's not a good situation that. You don't want to have a power play that splits over a break, because the whole point is to get momentum over the entire 2 minutes so that you can get as much pressure as possible. With 44 seconds, you're not going to get as much pressure as you'd like, but they're still going to be able to do something with it, you'd hope. And at least it gets them on the front foot for starting the next period.
Is indeed. Now, we are going to be talking to Lee Pollitt once he gets off the ice. We're going to have an interview with him on his thoughts and feelings for the first period. But overall, do you think the Hawks are going to be happy with the way that played out?
I'm not sure. I mean, there was some questionable defensive manoeuvres that they're going to want to clean up, and I'm sure they'll be talking about that amongst themselves in the locker room. But they'll be very happy with the fact that they've got to get a lot of practice on their power play. They've got quite a few opportunities. They've converted on one of them, and it's nice to see them implementing different strategies on each one as well.
Indeed, and again, I suppose the Wild would be happy with the way that it's 2-2. I mean, okay, both of these sides realistically are the same strength. We can't say that one is stronger than the other because of the fact that they're playing players that they wouldn't normally be playing in this situation. But to have killed 1.5 penalties so far and to be 2-2, the Wild will be happy.
Yeah, I'd imagine so, but they'll be more happy with the way they've looked going forward, because Blackburn Hawks have not been able to sit back and rest on the laurels at all. The Wild have looked very dangerous going forward, and in particular, Barnes, his puck control so far in this game has been on another level. And if anyone is going to score more goals tonight, it's him.
Yeah. Now, it's interesting that we've had 3 Wild penalties so far. We've only had 1. We haven't had any, for the Blackburn Hawks. They're keeping it in check. They're keeping it together. They're doing what they need to do.
They definitely are, but I also think it's a testament to the pressure they're putting on in the Wild end, because it's penalties in the Wild end every time, apart from obviously that silly one behind the Blackburn net where he tripped him up. But one of them was going over the blue line, one of them was down right, cycling around the net. You're talking about sustained pressure here, and those penalties are coming as a result of that.
Okay, now we will go to Lee Pollitt. We have him standing by in the interview area. Afternoon, Lee. How are you doing? Okay. Oh, sorry, we're just having a bit of difficulty hearing you there. Are you okay, sir?
Yeah, not too bad yourself.
Hey, there we go. We're fine, yeah. So, just talk us through that period then. Are you happy with the way the Hawks came into that game?
Yeah, we had a pretty good start. I think we dominated at the start there. Got a bit rough for the middle of the period, but we're getting our chances. Just got to carry it on into the next period.
Okay, now that goal, I had it down for yourself, but there was a little tip there off Riddick. What about the build-up play to that? Were you...
No, that wasn't me. Yeah, Rick got a nice tip there in front. That's why we put him there. He's good in them areas, so yeah, he's doing his job.
Now these power plays, we've just been talking about them there. We're halfway through one now. We had another one earlier on where we didn't really do anything for a minute and a half. Do you think we need to get a bit more intensity on these PP situations?
Yeah, I think we're all still working at each other out. We've not played with each other that much. So it's looking better towards the end of the period there. We're knowing where to find each other and where the opportunities are coming from. So yeah, it's only.
Right. Okay, well, thanks for your insight, Lee, and we'll see you in the second period. And for all our viewers at home, of course, that is the end of the first period. We'll be back in approximately 15 minutes' time with the second. Stay with us. And we are back on Hawks TV for the second period here from the Nest Blackburn Arena, as the score is 2-2 between the Hawks and the Widnes Wild. Bryan Shuttleworth is alongside me for this one, and as we were saying just before the period break there's 44 seconds remaining on a power play. Can't see the Hawks maybe getting anything out of that.
Capitalising may not be the goal here with that one. I think the main target for them will just to get some momentum going, get some movement in the legs, get some pressure on the Wild, and then sustain that once it goes back to 5-on-5.
Indeed. Now, as the players are getting back onto the ice, we will just switch now to our main camera feed. And who do you think has had the best coach talk in the dressing rooms over that interval?
It's hard to say. I mean, obviously, looking at the first period, both teams have things that they probably want to work on. The Hawks will want to be working on their neutral zone possession and play and clearing the defensive zone. And the Wild will probably have similar goals themselves, because transitioning through the neutral zone and into attack, the Wild have been at their strongest. And especially on the transition from defence to offence, that's where they've been the strongest, on the rush. And they're going to want to keep that up, and the Hawks are going to want to change the way they're structuring things in order to shut it down.
Okay, so here we are, the second period, 20 minutes more of hockey, very evenly poised. Wasn't quite end-to-end in the first period, but what we did see was a lot of momentum swing whenever a goal was scored. The Wild seemed to get a little bit stronger after their second goal before they then went on the penalty kill. So, as we said, 44 seconds remaining on a penalty for Jackson as the puck drops, and it's with Ulrich in defence. Bentham now. Now, in the interval break, I actually got a few messages.
Another penalty. Ludwig legged up against the boards. That'll be another 2 minutes for the Hawks.
Yep, this is a delay penalty of as the Hawks are just cycling the puck around in the Wild end.
So we've got 13 seconds of a 5-on-3 power play opportunity for the Blackburn Hawks here. Now they're going to have to win this face-off if they want to do anything with those 13 seconds. Otherwise, they're just looking to extend and hold possession for the following 2 minutes. But if they want to try and capitalise on a 5-on-3, they've only got 13 seconds. They must win this face-off, and that's on the stick of Lee Pollitt.
Yep, tripping penalty, 5-on-3. The tripping penalty there is on Thomas Barry. The Hawks need to get this in. Shot taken very close. It comes back out. 5 remaining on the 5-on-3. Back in Lee Pollitt. I thought he may have taken the shot there in the centre, and that's a fantastic save there. He was quick across the crease then.
Croyle with an unbelievable stop, firing his pads right across the crease to stop that one-timer. Unbelievable play. I cannot believe he kept that out the net.
Okay, so 18 minutes and 50 seconds remaining in the second period. We've only had just a minute and 10. We've got a minute and 25 on the penalty remaining for Thomas Barry. Gilbert rushing out. Davis with the tip into the corner, chasing it on. He's got Baldwin with him. Baldwin manages to get the puck out and away.
Of course, Baldwin will know very well how Aaron Davis likes to play hard in those corners, having played alongside him.
Across 1 minute remaining on the power play. Back in, shot taken, took a knee, but he just didn't really have the power on it for someone that would normally take a shot like that.
Yeah, I don't think he got the power he wanted to, but there were still a couple of chops in front that could have caused problems for Croyle, but it still went off his pad and didn't really cause any.
Dickinson avoided Griffin, but lost the puck in the process. Managed to gather it back up in the Wild end. We have shot in, hits a body, and over the blue, neutralised again. 32 seconds remaining on the power play.
Yeah, great block in front again by Baldwin. He's really holding this penalty kill together so far.
He is a junior international standard defenseman, and that really is showing in his game at the moment. 15 remaining on the power play. Back to the point. Thought Cade King may have done something with that, but it's with Ulrich in the centre. And that's it. And with the whacking of the stick on the other end of the ice, that is the end of the penalty. Even strength 5-on-5 hockey. Ulrich gets round 2, just pushes into Baldwin, then shot taken, it just hits.
That just glanced off the outside of the post.
Yeah.
What a play from Ulrich. He was unlucky that his shot wasn't on target.
And what I tried to say before the penalty situations there was I had some messages over the interval. Billy Shackleton, just got that one. Hi there, Billy. He says that Bentham actually played D for the majority of last season for the Leeds Chiefs. Of course, I didn't watch any Leeds Chiefs games. I wasn't fully aware of that situation. So that's interesting to see why Bentham is playing D.
Well, of course, it's not only that. He did actually play a lot of defence with the Solway Sharks when they had defensive injuries back in the day. But that was more of a covering role as opposed to his permanent. Because I know he used to play centre quite a lot, or right wing. So it is unusual to watch him transition his game to D full-time. But I think it could still definitely be a good benefit to the Hawks, and he does have experience there.
Nick Trappans thought he'd saved that. He hadn't actually gone anywhere near him. Went over him and into the stick of the Hawks, of the Wild, sorry. Barron takes his shot. Again, I do apologise to people watching this stream. We are still a bit rusty ourselves in this. I think even if we had been commentating up until COVID, it's still 11 months away from the game, 11 months from watching the game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, I still feel comfortable coming back to the mic, though. It's nice to be back.
Indeed. It was worth it for these nice jackets. And that's the way it changed for the Hawks. Now, as we said, yeah, the momentum kind of... Oh, Barnes now taking it in. Shot. That's gone in. It's gone through. I was going to say that was in the chest of Trappans, but he didn't look like he convincingly had it. But that's gone through him for Barnes' second goal of the night.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that squeaked through the arm of Nick Trappans there. But Barnes deserved a goal from that play. He just danced around 3 Hawks players all the way through the neutral zone from in his own end, and then buried that past Trappans with a powerful shot. Knicks won't be happy with conceding that goal, but that was a fantastic play that led to it, even if he didn't score.
So with 3 minutes and 59 seconds played in the second period, the Wild have taken the lead for the second time tonight. The score now is 3-2 to the Widnes Wild. They'd be happy with that. Certainly if you'd have given that, said to them, you'd be 3-2 up, 5 minutes into the second period, they would have taken that.
Especially if you'd have told them they were going to concede another penalty.
That's in.
That's in.
A very scrappy but
the referee
equalising goal.
Has definitely called it. The Wild were not happy about it. They were protesting about it, but the referee's shaking his head and saying, no, your protests are not valid. That is a good goal.
That looked like Aaron Davis were claiming that one for me.
Aaron Davis will claim all the points he can right now.
Of course, we have people in other countries watching these games. Gianluca Wagner, who's my best friend, he is watching this game from Berlin, and he's a big Aaron Davis fan.
I am hurt.
He is an Aaron Davis fan. Aaron's given him a signed shirt. He met him when we were all in Berlin a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you've told me a lot of great things about Gianluca. I'm looking forward to one day meeting him once the world gets back to somewhat normal.
The first message I got was, has Aaron scored? As G hits the ice pretty hard there. We suddenly have a bit more of a fresh injection of energy into this game. Pollitt knocking it back there to Rick Bentham. Back round the boards. Reese lets it go on. Here he is, Reese. It's just me, but Reese is the only one not wearing the new socks. He's wearing his Bradford socks. just grates on me how it's just slightly different.
You can take the lad out of Bradford, but you can't take the Bradford out of the lad. That man loves Bradford.
No, that's just blown down. No penalties. Just. Oh no, he's putting the puck in the other end. That call there with some infringements on the puck and the bounds of the arena.
Indeed, yeah, it's gone over the glass, and that's why the face-off is outside of the Hawks zone as opposed to inside of it.
So here we have Ulrich, got Butler in support, decides to take the shot, but that's into the chest of Matthew Croyle. He's shown himself to be to be strong and quite consistent this game so far. He's not really made any major errors.
Ulrich and Ludwig are both standing out to me as strong performers so far tonight. Their stick handling's been good, their passing's good, their shooting's good. They just need to get that final product into the back of the net.
Here we go now, Stuart Brittle. And that is an icing, as Kay King would have been the first person there. Of course, for people familiar with ice hockey, we play the hybrid rule here now in this country, which is that who would have been the first player there, certainly past the hash marks on the face-off circle, is deemed as being the first person to the puck.
And I'm definitely glad we play the hybrid rule, because it's a combination of safety and common sense that you don't get with standard icing.
So that puck's in the corner, 14 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second period. 3-3 as Ulrich tried to take a shot, but it already rolled off his stick. It's out and away, Brittle into the centre. Sloppy there from a Brittle. Oh, but he's managed to win it back. He's looking for somewhere to put it. Puts it back in his D. Onto the right-hand side for Jackson, who's tipped it forward as the Wild go for a change. And Butler now. Looking for a route through. Very nearly gave it away to Ollie Barron. Barnes with the interception, gets round one, gets it to the left. Switches it up, and there is a phenomenally well-worked goal there as Richard Hager puts it in the back of the net. And that was all Barnes that started that, but Hager for the fantastic finish.
Absolutely thread the needle pass, but Hager read the play perfectly. He sprinted to the back post and again left Nick's Trapans without a single chance of stopping that.
So 13 minutes and 52 seconds remaining. The Wild take the lead for the third time this game. Having watched the Wild from the start of their foundation, this is one of the best performances I've seen out of a yellow shirt.
Yeah, and it's always been fascinating and a little exciting too to watch the way Widnes Wild have built up and grown out of nowhere to be a pretty well-known and well-regarded club to all over the place in the Northwest.
It is. It's a nice little arena as well. I think it's the only arena that we ever go to and commentate at where you have to stand on a toilet block.
Yeah, but I will say it's one of the best views in any league.
No, it is. It is. Credit to that. I think it's only rivaled by Ice Sheffield and its media balcony when we are there. Now here we go, Griffin. Edge of the face-off circle again. I thought he might have taken the shot there. Aaron Davies pushes it away. Baldwin brings it onside. Just managed to lose out, but it's still with Barnes now. Barnes looking for the pass. He just has the one there round the back. Joe Coulter in the centre again. Coulter opts for the pass. Baldwin shot. That is a deflected save there by James Riddick. The netminder is pulled. We have a delayed penalty here as Gilbert goes on to be the extra man for the Wild. Griffin across the Baldwin, shot in, glances wide, and the second the Hawk can get possession. There we go, Matt Viney comes in the unfamiliar number 17, and that is a delay penalty against the Hawks.
Wild's offensive setup in that entire section of play was fantastic. They didn't even look like losing possession once, and the Hawks looked like they were chasing their tail around their own zone. They just couldn't track where the passes were going next and where the players were moving to. They were just cycling it all around the edges. Now, the other side to that is they weren't able to get any meaningful shots off, but the possession is key sometimes, and that's why it worked well for the Wild, and they drew a penalty.
So exactly 7 minutes into the second period, the Hawks have their first penalty kill situation of the game. The Wild's first power play as they're cycling this puck around in the Hawks' end. Just looking to get it through into the centre. See if they can get that shot on. Ollie Barron is in the sweeper position there in front of the netminder, just waiting to maybe shield screen or get that puck in as Nick Straphands freezes it on the edge of his blue.
Yeah, a good tip in front and a lot of bodies in front. Nick Straphands was struggling there, and he did very well to get his glove on that big bouncing rebound, because that could have caused a lot of problems if he didn't.
Now, I've seen it from Ollie Barron all over his career from his days at Sheffield. He is very good in front of a netminder. He's got quite a wide body. He's good with his stick tipping as well.
Some people could take both of those statements in totally other ways.
1 minute 25 left on Aaron Davis's penalty. Coulter puts it out to the left-hand side. Is that just kept in? Hawks away. Baldwin just tidies that up. Back to square one behind the goal to push out again for the Wild. The Hawks have managed to get a full change in on that. Bit of a reset there on the penalty. 1 minute remaining on the PP. Baldwin now on the right. Gets it in, and that's just frozen by Trappans, but I don't think he knew a lot about that through the bodies.
Again, bodies in front blocking his vision. That seems to be the focus here. Keeping possession around the outside of the zone, and then, like I say, bodies in front and hard shots to try and squeak through. And it's working so far.
Okay, 11 minutes and 50 remaining in the period. 50 seconds remaining on the penalty, as we very nearly had a Sam Dunford break away there. Of course, Sam Dunford has played for the Widnes Wild. He's one of the players that have gone the other way and back again.
Yeah, Sam Dunford again, another player that's very well regarded here in Blackburn as well.
Even though they haven't scored on this, I think that the Wild have been doing more with their power play than the Hawks have been doing over the duration of theirs.
Yeah, and it's just a continuation of what they were doing on 5-on-5. It's that setup in the Hawks zone. They just haven't found a way to counter it and get out yet.
15 remaining on the penalty. Back to Baldwin. In, try for the tip there, did Daniel Haid. Lee Pollock just wasting a bit of time on this rather than getting it away, and then hits the line, hits the referee. Fortunate there that the Hawks did still manage to get it away, and on a short-handed situation at least managed to form some kind of attack and have the puck in the right place for when they went back to even strength. Oh, I thought we might have got a heavy hit across the boards then. So Clancy gave it to Rhys Kenny-Witter. Rhys is going to get a nosebleed in this area. He's so high up the ice.
He did very well with the screen in front there. Obviously, he went for the line change. He wasn't expecting to come on as a forward, it seems. But he did very well with the little tip-off pass to allow the shot and getting in front to block the vision. Good play from Rhys Kenny-Witter there.
Indeed, if there's one thing Rhys can do well, it's screen. Now, he's back in a defensive position.
Don't be so
I'll tell him I said that. Well, I always do. Shot in and across the back. We are now at the halfway point of the second period, as Viney just knocks it back to Rhys. What we're doing now with Riddick. Viney, shot taken. Oh, and that's really, really far wide and over the windows.
Yeah, it's a great stick block in front that tipped that way over the glass. But that was all from a breakout pass again from Kenny-Witter that got through to Riddick and allowed them to transition into the Wild end. But a very good stick check in front to stop Viney getting a clean shot on goal.
So since the Wild went up in the lead, although the Hawks have spent a lot of time in the Wild end, they've not taken any shots that I felt have been raspy shots that could maybe actually get that equaliser.
Yeah, they definitely seem to have slowed down in this second period so far. I don't know if the early goal from the Wild took away some of that momentum, even though they brought it back. But it's definitely not at their highest speed, as the Wild throw off for an icing, and we're going to have a face-off in the Widnes end.
Yeah, sloppy icing call there from the Widnes Wild. The possession-based, short passing style that they've been playing so far this game, that's very out of character for them.
But it's working very well for them, especially when they get in the offensive end. The Hawks just can't control where they're moving to.
That's back out, just kept in at the point there by Ruddock. Just kept in again and tipped in. And that's saved.
I think that was a tip off a defensive stick there as that long distance shot. That could have gone anywhere. That's a little lucky really, and a bit sloppy from the Wild. They got kind of lucky on that one.
Couldn't see it myself. Still sometimes difficult tracking the puck so far, so long away from the game. So here we are, another good turnover there by Rick Bentham. Gets it over the blue, the Wild can't get it away. Here we go, in the middle. Dump into the corner there by Hager. Some scrappy board work play here as Greaves and Coulter with each other. Rhys gets it away. Good job for him. Now, who's going to be the first man on this? Dickinson keeps it. Here we go. Match to the blue, shot in, but wide of the goal. No real threat there against Matthew Croyle in the wild goal. Hager now. Well, on his own, essentially, as no one's gone with him. Takes the shot. I thought that went in for a second, then the way it bobbled
off the
over
outside of the net, thankfully, for Blackburn.
Now, Baldwin's playing more on the right this period. There to just grab that. Again, I thought he could have taken the shot there. Barnes back to Baldwin.
That's it. The Wild are playing a very patient game right now. And again, they're cycling around the perimeter of the zone. They're cycling so much around the boards and around the bottom of the circles. The Hawks need to do a lot heavier body play against the boards if they want to strip Wild of the puck, because keeping the distance in the middle is just giving them opportunities to screen the goalie and get shots off for free, and you cannot keep doing that or you'll just concede more goals.
So a face-off win for the Hawks in their own end. 8 minutes remaining in the second period. So that's back in Cade King across to Butler. Well, he was looking across to Butler, he didn't eventually pass in the end. There we go. Just off the skate there, Daniel Haid.
And I don't think Daniel Haid had any idea where that ended up. He looked a little confused when he turned to his teammates and they were all ducking away from that puck.
He's got a shout out to Kai Clancy. Of course, his dad is on the Hawks coaching setup for this game, and of course there is another Clancy, Michael Clancy, playing for the Wild, so he's watching this game from home. So hi, Kai. Hi. Pushed across by Aaron Davis around the boards. Back in. So King, no real pressure on him here by Ollie Barron. He's just keeping him pegged on his own goal line. Yeah, as you were saying, it's a cool, calm, measured, controlled game here by the Wild. They're just not doing anything spectacular, just solid.
Yeah, it's as I say, a very patient play, but as we see now, Butler's playing hard on the boards, immediately checked Stuart Brittle off that puck so they couldn't get set up, and now they're able to clear the zone, albeit they don't keep the possession, but they don't allow the Wild to set up, and that's the adjustment they needed to make.
So that's back in. Here we go with Riddick. Very wide there. No Hawks players in support of Bentham as he was trying to get that puck away. Finally gets it to Polly and then Lukevite.
I must say, even though he has transitioned to playing D, he's never looked comfortable so far tonight, Rick Bentham. He always seems to be just a little step behind where he needs to be.
Just kept in there. Lukevite tried to get it out. It does so. Looking now, is Lee Pollock going to take the shot? It dumps it back in for Lukevite in the corner. Riddick circling around the goal, but not in a screening way. He's just ready for the puck to come to him. As that goes for a stoppage.
Just want to give a shout out of my own to my wonderful fiancée Charlene, watching from home. She says we're doing great. I feel like she might be a bit biased.
My partner's out somewhere. I don't know. She won't be watching. So here we go. Hagar up the centre. Takes a shot from a ridiculous range. Hard enough that it actually comes all the way back to Baldwin on his own D. 5 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the second period. Colts are coming through. Manages to get through the bodies, but just runs out of steam when eventually they descend on him.
Yeah, if you run into a pair like Bentham and Kearney Witter, you're not going to get much further once you actually start hitting the body against both of them at the same time.
Ulrich now. He has some support, decides to keep it himself. Oh, I think he's overplayed it. He had the opportunity to take the shot, but carried on with the stick handling.
Once he played across the crease there, he had such a good opportunity to take a shot, but I think he just lost a handle on it. and wasn't able to make the play he wanted to do, but it was looking like it was going to be good.
Shot saved by the leg of Nick Straphans into the netting above the glass, just behind his goal.
Just want to put a little message out to thank all the sponsors of the Blackburn Hawks today. Of course, without them financing the club, this tournament for Blackburn in particular wouldn't have been able to happen. And of course, they have enabled the team to put this squad together and play these games. So a big thanks to every sponsor that you just saw on screen there for enabling the team.
Indeed, playing behind closed doors isn't cheap. 4 minutes and 35 seconds remaining in the second period. And still no real intense pressure from the Hawks since the Wild took the lead for the third time.
And again, though, the Wild themselves haven't had a lot of sustained pressure. It's been very back and forth and a lot of bouncing in the neutral zone. No one's really taken a handle on this since the Hawks adjusted and was able to shut them out of their own zone.
Yeah, Corey Lee and Ronnie Grimes now on the ice. Getting some fresher bodies out there. Dunford chasing his man. Just manages to keep it from going over the blue as Ronnie Grimes has it. He's opting to go for the change now. 3 minutes and 50 remaining.
It's a good little play there from Ronnie Grimes to hold up possession, though.
Fortunate there for Nick Straphans. He saved it and he was going towards Stuart Brittle, but he couldn't take the shot fast enough while he had a half-open goal in front of him. Shot again from distance there. But here we go, Lee. Just there, hits the stick of Michael Mauer.
Nice little pivot there from Lee on the skates to be able to get that shot away. It looked like he was going to get stick checked really easily, but he managed to keep hold of it and get a quick shot.
Nearly out. Situation where the Wild might get it in, and they do. Do not give Ollie Barron a chance like that.
Yeah, you can't let him walk into the slot like that. He's going to score those 9 times out of 10. That was picture perfect for him. He will not be happier than giving him an opportunity like that, and he will almost always take it.
Yeah, the Widnes Wild double their lead. The score now 5-3 with 3 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the second. Yeah, a man of the quality of Ollie Barron in that area of the ice, just in the slot. There was no way there was ever going to be another outcome to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, though, a testament to the play of the Wild. They're playing this patient game that's giving them the space, and that's the biggest problem they've got, the Blackburn Hawks, is that they cannot shut down space. They need to shut down players if they can.
Reece Kearney-Witter now with the puck. Overlapping there with Bentham. Opts to play it himself. Gets it onto the right-hand side. Lee Pollitt now has got Dittnell in the centre, calling for it. Lee gets it in, but it's in front of too many players. Here we go, Bentham. Gives it out. Barnes has now got it. Looking for someone to pass to. He does. Not cleanly enough there to Joe Coulter.
Coulter was never in a good position to receive that pass. He was always taking it on his backhand, and he was always going to be in a difficult spot to get a shot away.
Griffin and Baldwin now. 2 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. So here we are. Still taking it. That is, I think that's gone in, you know. I saw that.
That squeaked through the pads and bounced into the netting.
Wow.
Yeah, that has indeed gone through. Straphans again. He's not having a night that he'll be happy with, unfortunately. He just keeps squeaking him through.
Yeah. Difficult afternoon for him. Of course, it's a matinee game today. But yeah, I was just about to say that he just had that frozen, and then I saw something black behind his right leg. Unfortunate. But I think ultimately, people may not appreciate just how unprepared, how non-game ready these players are. With 11 months away from the sport, it's not just a summer; it's a year.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there are always going to be rusty legs out there, but I must say, looking at the Wild, you wouldn't think it. The Wild are playing really well. They're playing smooth hockey. Their tactics are working. They're keeping possession. They're cycling well. You wouldn't think that they'd had this amount of time away from the game, let alone this little time together as a squad.
As that puck goes out of bounds. Yeah, the Hawks were quite fortunate in that they developed elite training protocols quite early on in this COVID cycle. And so I've been able to train behind closed doors, obviously, and on a Thursday evening, like regular clockwork. But there is no better preparation for a game than game fitness.
Absolutely. You're always going to play harder on game day than you ever will in any training session.
So Gilbert puts that across. Can the Hawks knock it away in time? 1 minute and 30 seconds remaining in the second period. 6-3 now the score. 3 goals up on the Blackburn Hawks. That's coming back out. It only goes as far as Haid. Butler. It's down to 50 seconds now.
That's going to ice all the way down, I think. No, he stopped it short.
He kept it short. That's interesting. I would have maybe let it go. So here we have it, a long pass straight to Aaron Davis. Just didn't catch it on his stick well enough. He could have, if he just tipped that on, he could have carried on forwards. But Matt Viney with the shot, saved there.
Even though he didn't quite handle the initial pass the way he wanted to, Aaron Davis managed to make a decent little play out of that to get a shot on goal. And now you'd hope that they can sort of push this further in the Wild End and maybe sort of peg that lead back a little bit, because they've currently got a 3-goal margin and they need to sort of make a difference on this.
Yeah, 29 seconds remaining in the second period. The Hawks would not have expected themselves to be 3 goals down. The Wild, credit where credit is due, have looked good for their lead, and it is thoroughly deserved at this stage. Not to say the Hawks have been playing badly, it's just mainly that the Wild have been taking the opportunities. 5 seconds now.
Big collapse on the net there.
And there we have it. That's going to be the last action of this period. 40 minutes played, 20 minutes left to go. And it is the Blackburn Hawks 3, the Widnes Wild 6. Now, I wouldn't like to be in that Hawks dressing room for this interval.
There's going to be some harsh words said, and I think they need to be said. This team needs a bit of motivation. They need to get their legs pumping. They need to get moving a little bit more. They need to hold the puck a little better. And what they really need to do is just step up their game a little bit to get to the level the Wild are at right now, because I'm not going to lie, this Wild team's scaring me at the moment. They're very good to watch.
It is indeed. Now, it'll be interesting to see who's going to be between the pipes for the Hawks in the next period. Not that I think that they're going to pull Nick Straphan's, but with this, the competition that this is, they may want to get a few more minutes on another netminder.
I don't know if they'll do that at this stage. Maybe towards the back end of the third period if it looks like a guaranteed loss. But right now, with 20 minutes to go, a 3-goal margin is not the end of the world. There have definitely been more goals scored in a period, and there will definitely be a way for the Hawks to get back into this.
Okay, well, 1 period left to play then here at Blackburn Arena. Join us again in 15 minutes' time for the third and final period. So here we are, the third and final period. Whether or not this goes to overtime, it's not sure at this stage, with the Hawks 3 goals behind. The Widnes Wild 6-3 up after 40 minutes of hockey. Bryan Shuttleworth, what are we expecting from the Hawks coming out for this final period?
Well, Oz Phillips, they're going to have to work hard. They're going to have to work very hard to pull this game back into their own grasp. And from the looks of how hard Aaron Davis just punched that board as he stepped onto the ice, they are ready for it, I would hope.
They are indeed. Now, of course, you're going to be watching the game now, but as well as the Hawks TV setup that we're going to be bringing you to get access to the hockey over this period when you can't attend games, there is also a new Hawks podcast. Go on the groups, go on the Blackburn Hawks Facebook page, and you will see that. That's Johnny Comber and Graham Hamilton that have put that together, and it is well worth a listen. Now, of course, both teams now are on the ice as they're getting ready for the face-off. 20 minutes still to play. 6-3 to the Wild.
I just want to emphasise, you should definitely check out that podcast for Graham and Johnny. They've done a great job on the first episode. They've done a very good in-depth interview with new club owner Graham Lomax. And of course, Graham and Johnny, they only put out quality products, and it's very much worth a listen.
Indeed. As we go to the match camera. So the Wild, it's just a case of continuing what they've done in the first 2 periods.
100%. I mean, the way they have played initially through the first 2 periods, especially in the second period, has been fantastic. They've controlled the game all the way through the second period. They look dangerous, they look strong on defense, they controlled the neutral zone very well, so Hawks were difficult finding ways to transition. So it's definitely going to be a step up of the game by the Hawks if this game's going to go in the different direction.
Yeah, we're just waiting as the officials are checking the quality of the ice. We just have a little bit of an issue in the Wild end at the moment.
Yeah, he's just cleaning up a little divot by hammering it down with the game puck.
It was an interesting look of the ice as we came in today. I mean, obviously they're not getting as many people on this ice as usual, so it was a bit odd. It had a couple of runs on the Zamboni to just get it into a playing surface again.
Yeah, of course, because when the rink is, open permanently, the Zamboni's running over the thing almost constantly. There's skates across it almost constantly. Of course, with it being closed, it's a totally different matter, so there was a lot of water that ended up dripping from the girders on the roof and leaving some quite little lumps over the ice that had to be ironed out.
Yeah, the water was just condensation, This building not being manned or open during the day, we've had a couple of people going around cleaning the glass because it was just frozen solid and condensated.
Yeah, I think it was former Hawk player Anthony Kinder who had the job of squeegeeing away the glass all the way around the rink there earlier on, just as we were all setting up.
Still just working on this ice in front of us. I think they seem happy with that now. And here we are, the third period of this game. 20 minutes of regular time hockey to go. 6-3 to the Widnes Wild. Can the Hawks come back in? Can the Wild increase their advantage? There we go, the puck drops, and that was eerily silent then as that just went in.
Yeah, a little early on cutting off the music. I think the song ended actually, so it was deathly silent when that puck dropped.
Although it is nice to be playing hockey, it is a very unusual situation where you're playing with no crowds. It's almost like a Sutton Sting game. No. Thank you very much.
Oof. They were meant to be in this tournament. You
no,
can't
they
say
were.
that.
No, I like the Sting. I've got a lot of time for everyone around the Sting and their management and players. Great little setup. 15 seconds played.
Yeah, they've got quite a prolific and successful junior setup as well of the Sutton Sting.
Here he is, Reece Kennywitter in the middle. Luke Veit to Pollitt. Ice still a little moist at the moment. Oh, excellent little turn there to get round Baldwin. Running away from the stick of Pollitt there. We have a switch Barnes. Cleverly away there by Bentham, using his body rather than the stick.
Ooh, almost a tip in front there as it's now cleared away for James Riddick to try and carry it through neutral. Again, a lot of good potential from Ludwig, but he's just unfortunately shut down before he can get that final product off the end of his stick.
1 minute played. Still anyone's period so far. But it's going to take a monumental effort from the Hawks to get back into this at the moment. Ulrich now into Dickinson, just too far forward of his stick. And here we go, Sam Dunford. Keeps it with him. Some great stick work from him. Ulrich out to Butler. Butler just keeping that away from Habe. Here we go, shot saved. Quick work there by Dickinson. Cade King now.
And that's going to be a sloppy icing there from the Hawks. A bit of a miscommunication. A couple of players wanted to go off for a change, whereas Cade King thought he might dump the puck in for them to chase it and forecheck. But as I say, that miscommunication causes an icing call all the way down to the Hawks' defensive end. And now the Wild are going to look to put some pressure on and hold it in with Stuart Brittle there right in the slot, ready to go.
Yep, 2 minutes played exactly. Shot in, that's just bobbling away. In, glanced away into the window. And now, suddenly a quick changeover. Ulrich looking for the pass, but he was just kept off it, and the net has been taken off its moorings.
Heck of a collision there in front of the goal into the net itself, but that was a promising break from Ulrich. He was just unable to get the puck across cleanly enough for a stick on and an attempt on goal, but it was again another nice transition, a nice break with potential. The Hawks just need to step it up a little bit more if they want to make something out of these chances.
Miss the Wenger boys.
How can you miss the Wenger boys if they never leave your car?
Got tickets to see him in Wrexham. I thought they might have been cancelled with COVID, but it's still going.
It's still going. I'm surprised by that. What's the date of that?
I don't know. It's some festival in Wrexham in
I see.
August, I think. Hopefully we should have some crowds back at hockey by then with Boris's road plan out of this.
You'd hope so, but I wouldn't tie too much to the actual schedule. I'd imagine that's going to extend.
You know, here we are. Warnock knocks it in. Into the corner. 4 yellow shirts around that, which just prevented Aaron Davis from getting something clean on it. Lee now pushing Ollie Barron as he pushes it around the boards. Aaron Davis now with it on his stick. In for Viney. Viney tries to get the tip. He carries on into the boards.
Aaron Davis definitely seems fired up at the moment. He's making those gritty plays along the boards to keep the puck in the zone, and he's definitely hoping to make things happen here.
That's quite a clever tip, but there was no player near it at the time. Matt Viney pushed away. Here is Rhys Kearney-Witter. Very solid game from him.
Yeah,
again, not spectacular.
A bad play there
just
as well from Kearney-Witter. He's, like you say, a solid game.
Here is Barnes, 2-on-3. No clean pass available.
Rick Bentham just blew a tyre there in the middle of the slot. Luckily, the Wild didn't have any real possession to take advantage of that.
Tied up just in front of the Hawks bench. Back into the centre. Reese gives it to Greaves. Oh, sloppy there to just allow is it Coulter to get a stick to it.
Yeah, this is
Hager.
By far. Ooh, nice effort there. This is by far the Wild's most dangerous line with Hager, Baldwin, Barnes and Coulter, all 4 of those being some of the best players on their team, all on the same 5 pair.
Yeah, the Storm and Phoenix pedigree in those players. Here is Lee Pollitt. Long pass through Gilbert. Can look like take the shot. It's been pushed out. Defensively, the Wild have been very strong. Closing out players. Oh, that's sloppy there by
Barnes is away at the races.
Oh, that is very clever there, Chris Butler.
What a magnificent poke check from Butler there to strip Barnes of the puck. He was off running, ready to get a goal there, and he was ready to pick up his hat-trick, no less.
Fair play. I was going to say that he was sloppy from Chris Butler to allow him to get through him, but fair play for actually stopping that attack on his own, getting himself back in a position to take it away. Gilbert gets it forwards but loses possession to the Hawks. Butler across and then dumped onto James Riddock's stick. Here we go with Lutvak. Again, it's just another situation where the Hawks get the puck in a dangerous position but then have no men to do anything with it. Save, but still with possession. Pollitt, and that is a glove save, although that looked as though it was going slightly wide to me from here.
It was probably going a little wide, but that was a fantastic glove save, and he snatched it and held it very well, did Croyle. But again, we're seeing great potential plays, especially from Lutvik. He is looking great out there. He's getting all the stick play. His control of the puck is fantastic. His final product is just slightly below what it needs to be, because he's getting checked so hard when he gets down there. It's like the Wild have definitely pinpointed him as a key threat.
14 minutes and 23 seconds of regular time remaining. Again, the Hawks go forward, but with not many bodies. 5 yellow shirts, 2 black. Now a third one goes in to help. Sam Dunford going for that, but it's away by Berwyn Hughes. Just kept on side there. Very clever forward play by the Hawks again. Dickinson in the centre. Shot taken though, straight in his chest.
Yeah, straight into the crest of Croyle. Again, another easy save for him. If they want to take shots like that, they're going to have to start getting bodies in front. Now, the Wild are countering that by collapsing around the net quite a lot and protecting their netminder. It's difficult to find a way through the way the Wild's defensive setup is right now.
There we go, Luco waiting to get his man straight away, and that's not frozen. I thought that was meant to be frozen, maybe a silly mistake, and it is.
Yeah,
he had the opportunity to freeze that puck, and not taking it has resulted in a Widnes Wild goal.
That's a costly one, and that is, unfortunately, I hate to say it, entirely on Nick Straphan's. He should have frozen that or tossed it away to somewhere that one of his teammates could pick it up. He lost control of it at the worst possible moment, and sadly the Wild were able to make a couple of easy passes and get an empty net goal. Real shame.
13:36 remaining, 7-3 now the score for an almost rampant Widnes Wild.
It was just about an icing call there, as it was before the red line, thrown all the way down, straight off the face-off. Of course, for icing, you have to be past the red line before you can dump it into the offensive zone. Otherwise, it gets called back all the way down the ice.
But an icing call from that position, you'd say that's almost desperation?
It's definitely not a smart play. Yeah.
Well, here we are, the Wild have just kept it in there in the blue. Shot taken, pucks just in the corner. Kenny's going to wind up, take the shot. Barnes. It went through body. I think the referee lost sight of that.
Yeah, that's definitely what he said. He put his hands up immediately and apologised for that one, but I think he lost sight of the puck and blew that one down, yeah.
Full change, both sides. The Hawks need something massive from these final 13 minutes. So here we have it. Back in the centre, quick work there to try and get it to Clancy. Straight to Bentham, across to Reese. In the middle again, interception. That's actually one of the first stray passes that Reese has had this game. So,
and we actually have a penalty called there.
that was, yeah.
That's a hooking call.
I saw the hooking call from the official. Didn't see the hooking call itself. So that is Greaves in the box, number 9 for the Blackburn Hawks. Joe Greaves, 2 minutes for hooking. The second power play of the game for the Widnes Wild. And it couldn't come at a worse time for the Hawks.
Yeah, with 13 minutes left, just short of 13 minutes left on a 4-goal deficit, this is the last thing that they needed or wanted.
So what we could potentially see here is maybe a Widnes Wild that, okay, they'd like to score, but equally they'd like to just run that clock down, take some time out for this, take some sting out of the Hawks. Griffin.
I thought that was Sutton.
Griffin again, he's got Baldwin with him, takes it over. Wind-up shot, and if Griffin, he's done it.
Yeah,
wow.
Unfortunate there. Bentham just unable to get the clear as he wasn't able to get the stick on the puck enough to get it past. And an easy shot around him.
I was going to say
that Trapans was quite screened on that, and he didn't really stand much of a chance.
I was going to say that Trapans was lucky that Griffins wasn't there waiting to pounce on that because of the gap, but Griffin still had the time to take the puck, compose himself and take the shot and put it in the roof of the net past Nick's Trapans. So there we have it, 8-3 to the visiting Widnes Wild, 12:25 on the clock. Chris Butler through to James Riddick. Now he's coming out with the puck. No one's showing for him. There we have Cade King. Just got it over to the point for him.
Risky pass at the blue line there.
Scrappy behind there. It's not in a position where it was a stalemate. The referee was happy for that to continue till the puck came out to the point and then into the corner. Away, but just kept in again twice there by Chris Butler. Here we go, Lutvite shot. He was very fortunate then that the deflection came back in a position where he could get a glove on that.
Yeah, and again, it's another nice little play from Lutvik to create that opportunity. And James Riddick trying to chop in the rebound there, but just only chopping at the netminder instead, as Croyle had managed to get a hold of it, and then giving him a little nudge and apology for chopping at him so hard on that one.
11:33 remaining, 5 goals behind. I mean, this game could have gone either way, but obviously the Hawks are going to be very disappointed to be 5 goals down at this stage.
I'd like to say that the play between the two teams hasn't deserved that big of a deficit, but I'll be honest with you, it kind of has. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's down to the Hawks being bad. I'd say it's down to the Wild being phenomenally good. They've been smart and patient with every bit of their play so far today. All their passes have hit the mark. Their zone play has been great in terms of setup and holding possession, and their shots have been great as well, and they've all been on target.
Heavy there from Chris G on James Riddick. On Warnock. As you say, Chris G, a former Hawk himself, big body, solid unit.
If I remember rightly as well, it's another former Altrincham ace on this ice too. And the good old Manchester Minotaurs.
So, situation there with the Hawks seem to be challenging themselves with trying to get the puck out of their own end. Into centre ice, but quickly intercepted, and Barnes looking for another goal for himself. Baldwin cycling it through the neutral zone.
Looks like a delay penalty here.
Yeah, it is for the late hit by I think it's Lee. Delay penalty allowing the Wild to have the additional man on the ice as Croyle has raced to the bench. Less than 10 minutes to go. We've just
Right off the iron from Barnes. What a shot.
Loud. Save it then again there. Because the Hawks now have a new netminder. Apologies, I didn't make viewers aware of that. Nick Straphan's has been pulled. There has been a change of netminder.
Barnes is a hungry man out there right now. He is desperate to get that hat-trick.
We're still on the delayed penalty, which shows the kind of possession that the Hawks aren't having.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about. It's the controlled, patient passing play from the Wild that means that they're just not giving up the puck. The Hawks aren't really challenging the game because they're not able to get any kind of control on it. The entire time, the Wild have got possession. The Wild are passing it around. Even if it's not in the Hawks' end, they've still got hold of the game.
So, we have another power play for the Widnes Wild. Two minutes on the clock for the Blackburn Hawks as Corey Lee takes his place in the penalty box. This is the first penalty kill situation for reserve netminder Michael Rogers, number 35 for the Hawks. As Nick Straphan's is just taking a bit of a breather on the bench now. That's a good save. He put it in his glove, but I think he thought that was behind him then with the way he was looking.
Through traffic as well. That's not an easy one to track. But you've got to feel for Nick Straphan's. He's had a very difficult night to deal with. There's been a lot of pressure, a lot of shots, a lot of screens, a lot of bodies, and it's not been easy to deal with.
No, 8 minutes and 25 seconds remaining in the game. 1 minute and 30 remaining on the Hawks. Penalty kill as here is Lee Pullett. Essentially going on his own with this. Shot in. Oh, hits the iron.
Great
Back in
effort.
again. It is the best thing you can do if you can't score is at least keep the puck up this end of the ice and wind down that penalty. 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining on the power play. Toth across to Ollie Barron.
Got the first line back on the ice for the Wild again, it seems.
.50 seconds left. Baldwin has it on the left. Shot in. Just glances wide. Michael Rogers will just be looking to get some time on the ice. Adjust to his new surroundings.
Gotta say, those are some very nice pads he's got on.
.22 seconds remaining on the power play for the Widnes Wild. Baldwin. Taking the time, no one's having the shot. Rogers screens it away. 5 seconds remaining, 7 minutes in the game. As Barnes, 2 against 1. That comes out. Here we go, Corey Lee. Straight from the box, racing for that puck with Aaron Davis now. Battling for possession. Six minutes and 30 seconds left, Bryan, and I think the Wild are just going to slowly wind this clock down. They've got no need to push, to pressure, to get injured.
Yeah, and of course, I believe they've got a game tomorrow, if I remember rightly. If it's not tomorrow, then maybe next week. So they'll want to rest their legs and make sure that they're, not too exerted when they don't need to.
Yeah, for Hawks TV viewers, the Hawks' next game is in 2 weeks. That's in 2 weeks' time.
Just off the outside netting, I thought that might have been a goal for a second.
Yep. The Hawks are playing before then, just not on Hawks TV. They have other games away legs of this compacted competition schedule. Hawks would have been the first man to that, and that is an icing call against the Widnes Wild with 5 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Yeah, it's a little heartbreaking. You wait a year for a game, and then you got to wait another 2 weeks for the next one, at least on our channel.
Yeah, we have worked with many of the other streaming teams and people behind the collective efforts of getting these games out to the viewing public. And we're all in this together. I look forward to seeing the products that's available through other people. I believe Widnes Wild will have BASN, the team behind Drop the Puck, doing their stream, so we wish them the very best with their upcoming games. There's Dipnell now. Gets it to the point. Shot in. Just wide. It didn't actually touch any bodies there, in my opinion.
Yeah, BASN, of course, very tried and tested in the ice hockey arena with the likes of Wild.
Wow.
D-side. Oh, my word. That just split right through him.
Yeah, cheap goal there. Well done by Daniel Haid for taking the shot from that range, but I think Rogers will be disappointed with himself for allowing such a soft goal. So, 5 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in the third period. I think safe to say at this time that we won't be having any overtime.
Unless something monumental happens, I would definitely argue that that's the case.
Yep, 9-3 now to the Widnes Wild. Very, very much in control of this game. It's James Riddock. Pushes it forwards. All the way across, and Armstrong still has it. I thought he'd just lost that puck then, but interception there by Lutvik. Into Riddock. Nearly, very nearly. Lightning can strike twice.
Speaking of lightning striking, Kearney Witter almost getting it in. Scramble on the goal line.
Wow. There was a lot of people in a lot of situations there. The referee just waved it all off.
I think he's blown that off for man in the crease, possibly interference on the netminder Coyle there. Croyle, my apologies. But James Riddock, very unlucky not to get a goal there, but you can maybe question if he could have taken that shot just a little quicker when there was a bit more of an opening.
Our sport is a lot of shoulda, woulda, couldas, but with 4 minutes and 15 seconds remaining, fact is the Wild are still 6 goals to the better than the Hawks, 9-3 as it currently stands. Baldwin back in the centre. Wind-up shot there by Moore.
Some of that passing play was sublime. That was great to watch.
Again, change there as Baldwin goes to the bench. 3 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Here is Ulrich. He has been one of the better performers for the Hawks this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say the youngsters are definitely probably the better performers so far today. Lutvik and Ulrich, both of them themselves putting in very solid performances, showing a lot of potential too.
As expected, the Wild are carrying on with the passing game, but with no real urgency to go forward. Griffin taking this forward, but more happy to just keep possession than to pass it on. Barnes still has the puck despite the best efforts to push him off it there by Chris Butler. Loose again and away, and here we have a situation. Aaron Davis one-on-one. Save!
Brilliant stick save there from Croyle.
Back into the centre as Matt Viney tried to get an effort off.
Just covered the 5-hole enough so that Aaron Davis couldn't squeeze that through and managed to deflect it into the corner. Very well played on that one-on-one.
Another situation where Aaron Davis has the puck far forwards, but there's 2 men between him and the goal this time.
But again, he's forcing another offensive zone face-off. So it's nice to see a bit more offensive pressure here from the Hawks. They seem to be stepping up the game a little, although it obviously, of course, is a little too late. But it's nice to see them stepping up their game a little bit here.
We're at that stage where they need to start taking positives into the next game. And if they can start getting a bit of link-up play, seeing if people can thread a needle through D-men, then hopefully that can carry forward into their next game in this series. We are now at 2 minutes remaining. Luko still with that puck. Getting it out and across the boards. And down the left wing. Dipno, the highest man forward there. Hughes finally getting it out. Hughes again. 4 Hawks players around him.
And this first line for the Wild out again.
Oh, here we are, 1-on-1. Taken away from him. Joe Greaves had the puck stolen, but we have a penalty. Hooking call.
It is a hooking. Now, it was a great play from Baldwin initially to strip him of the puck, but then he just couldn't knock him off it as he lost his own balance and ended up resorting into hooking him to keep him away from getting any kind of meaningful possession. In fact, actually, that's gone to Greaves.
Yes, it's Greaves.
Wow, I thought that was Baldwin.
No. Greaves lost the puck and lashed out.
I'm not going to lie, I'm a little
trying to
surprised
get it
by
back.
that.
Which means that with 1 minute and 17 seconds remaining in the game, the Hawks are going to be on the PK. Power play for the Wild, their 4th. Oh, again, a little bit sloppy there. I think Lee Pollitt was quite a way offside then, and Ulrich never spotted it.
I mean, unfortunately, it was all to do with the momentum he carried into the zone and where he ended up losing the puck. He would have always struggled to get back on side there for Ulrich to be able to carry over.
Yep. 1 minute exactly remaining. The amount of time left on the penalty is irrelevant. It would expire after the game.
Of course, unless the Wild score.
Good push out there by Bentham, but Griffin just keeps it on the blue. Shot by Baldwin in.
Tip in front and then off the stick of Rogers and out of play.
38 seconds remaining. Full change for the Hawks. Face off just to the left of Rogers. He's only had a few minutes in goal. Conceded 1, which again I think he would like back.
Yeah, I'd say so, but he's not done too badly.
Not quite sure what Lookback was trying to do there.
I think he was trying to use his body to power in front of the net, but just lost his handle on the puck.
Final 20 seconds now as that just hits the lineman. Able to get the puck out of their own zone there, the Hawks, just to neutralise the attack, if only for a few seconds. 10 seconds now remaining. Pushed.
Ooh, was he just caught in the face with a stick there, and that will be a penalty for high stakes. Not that it's going to matter, as that is the end of the game.
They have called the end of the game at that. I think sorting that out with just a couple of seconds remaining would have been a moot point. So there we have it. We've had 60 minutes of hockey, and the full-time score here at Blackburn Arena is Blackburn Hawks 3, Widnes Wild 9. Now that's not to say that either side were very good or very bad. It was very solid from both. It's just the Wild took the chances and kept their cool, kept their calm, and kept the pressure when they needed to.
I'm not sure I necessarily 100% agree with you there, Oz. I mean, the Wild were so solid in all of their play out there.
Okay.
Obviously, they conceded 3 goals, but their possession play, their overall passing play, their game play, and again, their actual production up front was just another step above the Hawks, and they couldn't quite find that gear that they needed to in order to keep up. And the likes of Barnes were untouchable on that ice tonight. Barnes was so good.
Here's now the players are coming off the ice. There's a slight change to the way that the end of game situation is because of COVID regulations. The players are just coming straight off the ice themselves. And so, that is the end of our broadcast at that stage. If you want to have any more information on the MVPs, that will be posted on the Blackburn Hawks Facebook page. But I have to say that's been a thoroughly enjoyable game. Have you enjoyed your time today?
Absolutely. I'm not going to lie. It's good to be back.
It is indeed. We've had a few niggles, we've had a few little issues, but I think for a first broadcast, when we haven't done any broadcasting at all for a long period of time, I hope you've enjoyed the product that we've put out. So from all of us here, from myself, Bryan, Stewart, and everyone else on the technical side, anyone else that has helped us behind the scenes, Carl and Graham and the Hawks management, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.